Scunthorpe United had lost 4-0 at home to Exeter City this afternoon.
Love it.
Open wide for some soccer!
Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much all for joining us. As always, throw your questions in there because me and Jim are going to go through the Weymouth game. So we need as much support as you can because there ain't much to talk about. We are joined, though, first and foremost by Nick from the Stockport County podcast, who is very happy and he's going to talk us through the Good Friday game. Can the champions-elect beat the most successful team on Good Friday in the history of English football? And before that, we're joined by Bruce, who isn't feeling too well, but is certainly in better shape. Our mate Henry, who did he do the Brighton marathon today?
He did. Well, yeah, congratulations to him because that's I've got some mates that did the Manchester one, I think, last weekend, and yeah, full respect to anybody that does that sort of distance.
It started as a pub crawl and it just kept going, I think. But he's doing well, and we'll provide a link actually in a minute if you want to throw him any cash. If you don't care about having your lights on and your electricity bill doesn't fill you with fear. Jim is joining us as well. Jim, thank you very much for joining us on our debut.
It's a pleasure.
How was your trip back from Weymouth?
I went to Bristol straight after Weymouth, which is essentially Hipsterville of all hipsters. Every hipster in the world lives in Bristol. And so I went out on a night out in Bristol. I had more kimchi than the world supply of kimchi. Does anybody know what kimchi is?
I mean, I want to know if you went to the Brewdog, because isn't that then sort of like the Ghostbusters equivalent of the little red thing where you open it, if that's the hipster capital?
It was a load of containers with restaurant/bars stuck on top of each other, whereby you went for a drink or you went for some kimchi, Korean sort of cabbage, which is spicy, on top of chips. And so that was Saturday night with a good friend of mine called Tom, who is from Bristol, who I've, twisted his mind to make him follow town.
It does sound like they've got scraps very wrong there, though, if they're putting cabbage on chips.
Yeah, it's kind of like this. I don't know. It's like red cabbage that's just white cabbage, but spicier. Ridiculous.
That's the in thing now, though, isn't it? Like for a night out, it's like disused industrial estate, shipping containers,
exactly,
expensive booze. That's all you need nowadays. Yeah, they'll make it up here to Manchester one day.
You wait till Immingham gets going.
That's
you wait with the biggest night out in Europe.
Just one bloke called Dave on the poor door.
How many containers do you want, lads?
3,500 people piling off the 45, wondering what there is to do apart from a Jack's and go to Aldi. Well, I mean, we will talk about our sunny trip to Weymouth and the fact that they've got slightly nicer sea than we have. But this Good Friday, I don't think Nick wants to hear about it because he's in far too fine fettle than we are. We are facing off against, let's face it, champions-elect Stockport County, who are finally returning to the Football League. The only team in the league that can complain more about ITV Digital than our former leader would suggest. Nick, how are you feeling? Is it what you expected? And I think we were just talking off air whether or not you can get promoted. You don't think you can. Not just yet anyway. How is it all feeling? Because it was a late charge, wasn't it? It wasn't starting the season. It didn't feel like you might be this high up this early.
Yeah, we basically had a bit of a managerial experiment going on, and we persevered with that for 3 months. Just gave everyone a bit of a head start. Some of the most insipid soul-destroying, depressing football you're ever likely to see. So I honestly
I didn't
thought
know
we'd
you
stick
had
with him for the
Holloway
season.
as a manager.
Well, he was linked with it when Rusk left, just to the point where I thought, oh no. And I was genuinely worried we'd go for a Holloway or a Barton, which would have, I think that would have been the point where it would have been, season ticket in the bin. Let's go and do something else with my Saturdays. But no, luckily we brought in Dave Challoner, and it's just been absolutely bonkers. We're playing exactly how you'd hope we would, based on what we have in the squad. Finally, it's mad. I still can't come to terms with this being top of the league by 8 points, though. It's too much. Just bring it back down to 4, so feel a bit more normal.
Have we not got a sound effect every time he says Challoner, like a booing or something like that?
Hideous human being.
Like that.
We've actually got a cardboard cut out of him that does the round at away games. And if I'd known I was going to be on it, I would have brought it with me. But
can you bring him? Because we would love to,
We'd love to snap his legs.
Yeah, it's not coming out of Grimsby safe, is it? No chance.
Neither is he. Actually, that's the problem. It's 20 years now. People have totally forgotten. There's too many. It's only us guys in our 30s and 40s. So, trying to chase after him with our slightly inflated BMIs. I guess the one question we've got to ask, Jordan Cropper, how come he doesn't fit in your team?
Who's Jordan Cropper?
Am I wrong? He came from Stockport, didn't he?
No, I think I thought I was on the wrong podcast then for a minute. No.
Hang on, I'm looking at this. I think he came from you. I'm going to look like a right fool in a second. Yeah, I am wrong. It was Chesterfield. I was just thinking of blue shit team.
I was going to say that. Yeah. Blue teams that think they've already won the league. Yeah,
exactly. We do our research on this pod, Nick. No stone unturned, no website untouched.
He came from Weatherfield.
That was it. Yeah. He came from Weatherfield.
Yeah, we can't wait to play Doncaster on Friday.
He did work at the Hat Museum at least. That's all we've got. Well, I guess then we're talking about your midfield. You've got, let me make sure I'm doing this right, bloke from Bolton, who they were all loving last season.
Sarcevic, yep.
Sarcevic. Has he settled in? Is he the one?
He's had a couple of injury problems. We've had to manage his minutes because he came to us with a bit of a niggle that he picked up while he was at Bolton. So he's been the first one to be rested most weeks. But he's been a revelation. Just these players coming in that are League 1 and 2 quality, and you can see it straight away. Normally they take a bit of time to bed in, but straight away he was quality. Mad. Someone like Stephen McDay's come and said Stockport have spent an obscene amount of money. Look, they're all spending obscene amounts of money. Where's this cash come from? Who are they? Are you feeling safe with it? I feel like a moral arbitrator for football clubs going, look, don't be scunny. Like, is it all on the level? Is it because I don't want to see you guys down in like playing Morpeth again. Well, yeah. Well, we've been close to that already. No, I agree with you, Alex. I'm very much of the same mind, particularly given that my girlfriend's family are Scunny fans as well. So I'm kind of, you can have another beer there if you want, No,
it's just a laugh.
yeah, that's it. It's just sympathy now, isn't it?
I think that's the problem. You're right there, actually. I think the problem with Scunny now is it's gone from town fans taking the piss to going, oh, that's not nice, is it?
Yeah, that's exactly what we had when we dropped down to like regional football. Just Man City and Man United fans, just from taking the mick, have just gone to, they do the head tilt. When you say you're a county fan, they go, it's like telling them you've got some terminal disease or something. But no, the takeover it's a local businessman, and he's basically decided he's got too much money and wants to lose some of it, so he's bought the club, made us debt free in the process, spent money on the infrastructure, the ground, a new training ground, the whole lot. He's done stuff for the NHS, for the local community. And it's basically a case of wanting to get us up the leagues. The money that he's put in has been converted into shares, so there's no outstanding loans owing to him. So far, it all seems very above board.
He sounds like a hideous human being.
Yeah, absolutely awful.
Nick, I want to ask about your groundsman, because when we went there in whenever it was, start of the season. He had a right old beef with our players training on the pitch before the match started.
Yeah, I think that was an early season thing because he's been our groundsman previously for the last decade or so on and off. But when we had a dodgy regime in charge, he was always the first one to get sacked. So he's been away. He's been working for teams like Fenerbahce and Galatasaray and everything. So he knows his stuff. And he's come back here. And at the start of the season, when it had been relayed, he got a bit militant about the pitch. I think that was it.
He was.
Right now.
I can't remember who it was who was training on the pitch that weren't playing. They were in the squad. Obviously, it must have been Max Wright. And And he told them to just get off the pitch. You're not allowed to play. It was ridiculous. We were all booing him from the away end. And then he had a massive argument. I can't remember who had an argument with, but he got quite heated.
I'll have a chat with him next time I see him.
Down with the groundsman. Get him out.
It wasn't Joel Grant, was it, Jim?
Yeah.
You're not allowed to play. Get off the pitch.
No, he wasn't even there.
That was that's our groundsman going, you're not a player. I've never seen you before.
You got the ID.
I just got this idea now that Dave Challoner's going to get no abuse whatsoever, and this poor bloke called Steve has turned up just for a free one. He's getting absolute pelters from Jim.
I was there. I saw that broken leg.
I mean, let's face it. We've all had. I mean, Stockport County and Grimsby Town is the most 90s FA Cup third round draw that both of our teams never wanted. That you would just go. I think between 99 and 2005, we pulled each other out the house at least 3 times. Going right, we get Man United, bit of a money spinner. Oh, Stockport, who are slightly better than us this year. That's a 2-1 defeat. Brilliant. 3,000 people turn up, and then we all bugger off home, and that's our cup dream for the year.
That was constantly every year. You'd be like 6 teams left in the draw. And it'd be like Stockport, Grimsby, Liverpool, Man United, Arsenal, Chelsea. And you're like, oh, here we go. Grimsby away. Yeah, every time.
I mean, how are you feeling for next season? I'll be honest, I've already put a tenner on you guys getting promoted. Are you feeling that League One is the level that you're at, or are you looking at Luton for aspirations? Or
I think, I mean, if you look at the likes of Luton and Brentford and Blackpool, Wigan, Swansea, they're all teams that historically no bigger than us.
Gone into administration.
Gone into administration and then had a decent time of it after that. So, it's all worth it. No, I think it's been, someone said last week, it's been 40 years since a team came up from non-league and then got relegated straight away. So we should be looking at the top end. You'd hope. You'd hope top end of League Two. Yeah, from what I've seen, I do watch a fair bit of League One and League Two because I'm a glutton for punishment like that, and I think we fit in just fine. We did all right against both Bolton and Rotherham in the cup this season. I think we'll be top end of League Two. Hopefully.
League Two below the top 6 or 7 is absolute shit. It's just horrendous, and we managed to finish bottom last year.
Well, it's no reason they're quite happy to keep it at 2 down because
it's awful. There's perennial strugglers every season, and then Barnet did it for years, and we did it for several seasons. Thank you. And
twice.
There's we've been anyway. And Stevenage are down there every year. Scunny have been down there every year, and they're going through now. It's just there are some really, really poor teams. You'll be 15 points clear by Christmas.
I'll take that now. Get your money on it.
We had once. We started off all right when we came back up, and then Hurst cleared off because there was no ambition, and then there was no ambition, and then there was less than no ambition, and then we got. He
played on the left, didn't he?
And then criminals.
And then
Our board just thought, we're all right.
The lawyers' work.
We'll do what we've been doing. We've been doing for 20 years, and we were in the Championship, and now we're in non-league again. But we're not bitter.
No, I like going to Weymouth.
It's great, isn't it? Just be glad you didn't drop down to like National League North.
What was it like? So was that as far as you dropped? Because apologies, like after that, I don't even know how relegation there works.
Yeah, so after that, you drop into it's a mainly part-time league, National North. So we turned part-time because our cook owners at the time decided the best thing to do, if you stay part time, then we'll get the best of the part-time players, which did not happen. I can tell you, dear readers, that did not happen. But yeah, National League North, you're coming up against the likes of Guiseley. Tamworth away was one of our first games in National League North, and I saw a woman smoking a pipe. That's the sort of thing you get in Division 6.
Did she have a beard?
Very close.
We're at King's Lynn soon. I'm expecting similar.
King's Lynn's the exact type of place where you'll see that. Yeah, very very odd places. Yeah, Lowestoft is another one we went to. Just odd.
Lowestoft. How, with due respect, and you say you had a crook owner, how did you end up going through this division? Was it one season, or was it a couple of seasons and then you went down? I can't remember.
It was club legend Jim Gannon, who's bailed us out of the dirty stuff God knows how many times. Anytime we decide to sack him in the middle of the season, it all goes wrong. 3 times it's happened. So yeah, they basically sacked him off and then decided to have some experiment where the chief executive was signing the players. And we ended up finishing 4th bottom of the National League. And normally 4th bottom gets to stay up because there's a team that goes bankrupt. But that year they decided not to do that. That year they thought, no, we'll let Stockport go down. It's fine.
It must be. I mean, you get to that patronising stage where my passion levels and my absorbment of town have not changed since we're in the Championship. And does it change when you get to national? Is there a change like, oh, we're part time? Like does the news drip feeding out of the club change? Do you go to, I don't know, raffle tickets for tickets or?
Most of the away grounds, it was raffle tickets for easily duplicated tickets. Right, so most away games we're taking 2,500 there when we
and they'll get into 200 quid.
yeah, that's it. And climbing over fences. Half of the grounds in that league, you don't even need to pay to get in. You can just stand in the car park and see the whole pitch.
It was saved Colville, wasn't it, Bruce? When we went, Colville had a park at the end.
Colville was bloody freezing. It was like Bradley pitches with a rope round it,
and it had a slide at the end in it.
That was yeah, we could have done with that for taking corners. Just slide down it and just boot it a bit further. But I think this does feel sort of quite like a sort of family reunion because, the clubs have been through this sort of very similar.
I'll see if anyone from South End can get on.
Recent history, get South End on and we'll be. But no, it does. And to see you guys at the top of the league, you obviously fallen lucky, it would appear at the moment, or with a new owner and stuff. But it's a proper club that's going back up, and there's too many what I would call non-proper clubs in the football league that have been artificially put there.
Just family projects.
Do you think that your owner intends to sort of try and make it sustainable? He's obviously heavily financing you at the moment. Do you think that is there a plan for it to be sustainable for the day that he does or isn't there?
Yeah, it seems as though, I mean, I know that there's the talk of how much we've spent and everything, but I don't think we've paid a transfer fee since Paddy Madden last season. Since then, our last big signing was probably Sarcevic from Bolton, but he was on a free transfer because he'd had a falling out with the manager. But it does seem as though we're dialing back the big spending. So it's the funding in the Football League that's the difference. I think BT Sport give us 50k a season here, and it's £1 million in the Football League. So it's a gamble that's worth taking if it pays off.
Do you guys have a youth team at the moment? So from what we know from our team, so when we get relegated to here, so we get the parachute payment for this year, and then next year it obviously dials down to pretty much nothing. And then after 3 years, the youth team no longer have a league they can play in. They have to basically just become Harlem Globetrotters and just organise friendlies amongst themselves. Do you have a youth team at the moment? Are you set up Football League wise?
Yeah, pretty much. When we dropped out of the Football League, 10 years ago, bloody hell. When we dropped out of the league, that was the first thing to go, the academy, because of how much it was costing to run. And then, same. We've just started it up this season again with a view to being in the Football League, but we have no protection with the young players. You can't sign them to a contract until I think they've got to be 18 to sign them. So we lost one lad to Brighton earlier in the season, a young player. There's another one who's been on trial at Sunderland recently. So it's a matter of getting into the Football League to actually make some money off these younger players. Because we were the same last season. We had it was called a development squad basically, and it was the Harlem Globetrotters thing of just playing a behind closed doors game against Fleetwood or whatever every week. That was it.
It must be really competitive around you as well for young players, because we moan about our geographical isolation when it comes to attracting players, but we are one of only a couple of clubs that young players in the vicinity and the surrounding sort of 40 or 50 miles will come to. So on that sort of score, we stand quite well for that. But like I say, for attracting senior players, we're the opposite. Whereas you've probably got a big pool of guys that want to live around Manchester, Leeds, anywhere like that. You're quite good for. But like I say, the youngsters, you must have to fight like hell anyway.
That's it. I mean, probably the most talented young player in the world right now, Phil Foden, grew up 50 feet from Edgeley Park. If we had an academy going, we might have had a chance of him coming through there. But because we didn't, he went to City. And United have kind of they're not the big draw they were now, even with the academy. But Man City certainly, and then Liverpool and Everton as well. There's been a fair few youngsters who've gone on to go in the academies there. So it is it's a tough region to be in, definitely.
I'm sure Barrow, they train
in Salford, I believe.
Yeah, during the week, and then just play the games in Barrow on a Saturday or a Tuesday. So there's, from the top to the bottom, it's a rich pool.
It's similar to what Middlesbrough used to do in the 90s. When Middlesbrough went to sign all these big money foreign imports, they'd take them to London for the day and make them think that London's just down the road. So that they'd sign. And then when they sign and get put in some horrible penthouse near Middlesbrough, thinking, London's miles away. What's going on here?
We do the same, but we take them to Hull.
That's why Ravanelli went grey.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Take them over the Golden Gate Bridge, Alex, don't we?
It was the Flora. Yeah, exactly. This is Silicon Valley. As we're watching a woman called Sue
in Ravendale Valley.
Wren Kitchens or whatever it is that's based in Barton. There aren't too many former Mariners in your team. There's a fair few former Scunny players in terms of the Greek philosopher. Hippolyte is in there. And you've got, obviously, Paddy Madden. And you've got, who have we got for you? The only one that I've seen was Connor Jennings.
And Ash Palmer as well was from the Scunthorpe youth team, I think, as well, yeah.
Bodes well for you.
I know, yeah. It's mad, these because obviously for the last 5 or 6 years, I've been kind of quite well versed in what's going on at Scunthorpe through my father-in-law. So it kind of gets to the stage where, why are we signing these Scunthorpe rejects? Have you seen the state of them? But I mean, Miles Hippolyte, he basically only dropped one position in the league pyramid when he came to sign for us, and he's been an absolute revelation. It's free transfer mid-season, and it's been just what we needed. It's bonkers.
We got, obviously, you suffered your first defeat in about 3.5 years. How are you feeling after sort of thumping Southend? And are there any particular players we should be aware of, or are there any injuries that we should delight in the fact that they're not going to be playing? Are they going to be bowled over by the fact that there's a ground with 2 tiers that they're going to?
Yeah, but that might take about 5 minutes to shake off, to shake off the shock. But
lots of selfies in front of it.
Yeah. Oh, we had that every week in the National League North. Don't get me started on that. But we've covered National League North. Can I move on from it?
The only thing I want to comment about Stockport's ground is it is a council estate ground in terms of that you've got a TV that's too big for your house.
Mate, I have to wear sunglasses on a night game when we have the Bolton fans under there for the FA Cup game. Any epileptics must have cleared them out before the game.
I felt like I was having chemo or something.
Yeah, that's exactly it. But I'm at the opposite end to it, and even I'm like, oh, it's a bit much, that, lads. It's a bit. Well, last season with the screen we had, we couldn't turn it on because the frame rate was too slow for BT's cameras.
All right.
It's the old one from Old Trafford Cricket Ground, actually. That's where we got it from, I believe. Yeah, they were just. I think we just found out in the skip.
I was going to say, do they know you've got it?
They could have left it there. You'd still see it.
Yeah, we sent Phil Foden down in a shell suit just to carry it out.
You can take the lad out of Stockport. Is that what it is?
He does look Stockport, though, doesn't he? I mean, just on first glance, horrible.
Have you got any? Just let's flip this round a little bit, Nick. Have you got any fears for Friday? I think our form sort of, if the last couple of games were anything to go by, our season sort of turned around. We were crap against the better teams, and then in the middle of the season, after beating Wrexham and drawing with you at the start of the season, and then we seem to have flipped it around a little bit now. Obviously, we're going to talk in a bit about yesterday, but I quite fancy us to give you a decent game on Friday. I'd rather play you probably than someone like Kings Lynn that comes and sits and time wastes.
Absolutely.
I'd rather take on a team that's going to come and have a go at us, and I think that'll suit us as well.
Yeah. Well, I said the same about Southend yesterday because they turned up and had a go, and it didn't go the best for them. But that's exactly it. The Wrexham fans seem to make this big thing out of us struggling against some of the smaller sides, but it's exactly like you said. They've just come and put 11 behind the ball, and we've had to find a way through. So I think some of our better performances have come when teams have had a go at us. I get the feeling we're going to drop some points soon. It's just the fact we're playing after pretty much every game now. We're playing an hour or two after Wrexham, which is that's the main worry. So the gap could go down to about 5 points, and it's getting to a stage where we will need to pick up. But I wouldn't be surprised to see us drop at least a couple of points on Friday. It's overdue.
Your running is pretty tough, actually, hasn't it? The games you've got Yeovil and Torquay. You're outside of the playoffs, and after that, it's
Torquay picking up. Torquay are picking up as well.
Can't wait to play you in the playoffs at this rate.
It's going to be very interesting. I mean, if we do manage to bottle this now, we've got no one but ourselves to blame. But yeah, I just want it over. That's what I want more than anything. I don't care how we do it now. Part of me kind of wants us to get pegged back and then win it in the last minute of the final game against Halifax, just for the whole theatre of it. But I don't know if my heart will take that.
Alex, you brought on half an hour ago. You brought on this cheerful lad from Stockport. We're just taking him back to the Conference North, and now he's doubting. Now he's doubting that they can make automatic.
Yeah. This is the problem. Like, we can talk about everyone trying to be Billy Big Balls down in these leagues, but every fan, if you're a big club, you've definitely been damaged goods. So you're all slightly neurotic at what's going to happen. Has anybody got any more questions with Nick before we give him some sort of slightly slower sense of worth, apparently?
Yeah. My missus is upstairs. I'll get one of them anyway.
Well, if she's from Scunthorpe, you have the upper hand, both morally and, objectively.
And genetically.
I think next time, Nick, next time you come on, when Scunny finally get relegated, you'll have to be upstairs and she'll have to be downstairs.
Yeah. Finally.
Yeah. We just change it for National League positions, is it? Is that what it is? I can watch us on iFollow. Are you watching Scunny on iFollow? Oh, no, you're not, are you? Yeah, you have to go back to the 80s and listen to it on the radio.
The wireless.
Any sort of predictions, or are you coming along? It's going to be a pretty full crowd at least, which is nice. Yeah,
I'm looking forward to it. It's my first away for a few months. I have to work so many Saturdays a month, so I kind of do them when there's an away game. So with it being a Friday as well, I'll be coming down on. I'm not a fish eater though, so there's nothing for me apart from the football. Everyone else kind of goes to a game at Grimsby and thinks, oh yeah, I'll get some good fish and chips, but I don't like seafood. So the game better be good, otherwise there's nothing for me.
Is this where we tell them about our sponsor, Alex?
Well, yeah, we've got beer. We do have beer.
Sorted.
Do they get
sausages?
Yeah, they do.
Like sausages.
They do link us to sausages. Do they do nice food in the away end? Is it all just pies from last week?
That's it. It'll be all sawdust and stuff, won't it?
Because we've got.
They were asking for it. I think they've recruited extra staff for Friday. There was advertising for extra.
Got more than one.
Yes, there's two of them on. Two of them getting shouted at by 2,000 county fans. Brilliant.
Have you sold out, Nick?
What, me personally? Oh,
yeah. But by being on this podcast,
we will happily sell out to any company who would like to plaster their name on the podcast.
Give us money. Give us money. I think we have 1,400. I believe we've sold. Yeah, I think that's the full allocation we've got. I've got one, so I don't care.
That's not the full stand. I don't know why they're doing that.
Yeah, some safety thing or something. The closing bits off or something. I've no idea.
It makes
because I think
we've
we
never
could
had a
sell
problem.
double that.
We never used to have a problem selling out. I'm sure we used to sell. I mean, the other two will probably correct me, but I always thought that stand held about 2,000.
Yeah, I
I
thought
thought it was 1,800.
And now it seems to get smaller every week. But yeah,
Nick
for
Dale's
us
in there chipping seats off week by week.
for us to turn away 400 extra people, I don't understand it at all, because I can't see any logic behind it personally.
Yeah, just
I'm sure they'll all find a way in the home end. They'll find a way in.
Yeah, it's just odd. I don't know. Maybe our club can tell us why. Well, why you haven't got the full allocation, because we used to manage without tarpaulin in the Championship, and this thing about stopping people having the front 3 rows. I mean, God, I don't know. I'm getting old.
It's best for you. It's got no fucking posts in the way.
Sorted.
I mean, Nick, it is an absolute pleasure. Enjoy it. Obviously, I don't think we've ever lost on a Good Friday, so look forward to that. But just be safe in the knowledge that we've now dropped to 5th in the amount of the most league games lost in the history of English football after Burnley lost. So we're not the glorified team that we used to be.
Yeah, that's changed everything for Friday. That has.
Yeah, exactly. Europa League spot for us now in that league. Thank you very much. Enjoy it and get out the fucking league, because we can't afford to play with you in it. See you later. Nice to meet you.
Thanks very much. All the best, chaps.
Yeah, all the best after Friday.
Yeah.
Right back at you.
Right. So, I mean, gentlemen, he sounds quite buoyant. Our Jim, you were down there. You made the far longer trip than I had to do for a couple of hours. Even then, I thought I went to bloody Mordor. What were your thoughts on the game before my misery will compound it?
On the game, it was an odd one, really. I mean, there was no atmosphere to start with. It was a very odd atmosphere.
Thank you. I'm getting a lot of pelters for saying it wasn't even that there's an atmosphere. No one sang at all.
No, I think it's because people are so kind of like distributed around what is quite a large away end, to be honest. So there's no atmosphere. I think everybody had a really good time in Weymouth beforehand and just couldn't be asked, because it was, probably enjoying the pubs and the restaurants of Weymouth prior to the game. We just stuck to one thing, and that was kind of like these long cross balls into the corners, taking it to the byline, trying to get a cross in. More often than not, got a cross in, but there's just absolutely no one there to finish it. And fair play to Weymouth, they really wanted to. Well, they needed something, and you could tell it. And they defended really, really well. We should have scored on a couple of occasions. Maguire Drew should have scored in the first half, a near open goal, and we didn't change it enough, and it just got a bit drab and a bit meh, and it petered out significantly. I felt sorry for the side. They really tried hard. Clifton, in particular, in the last 10 minutes, he'd had a good game. He seemed to. Well, he didn't seem to. He did. He put too much on any pass to any of the runners. He's too much weight in the ball, and it just ended up being really frustrating. The substitutions were too late, thought, and you just knew it was going to be 0-0 after 70 minutes into the game. We knew, well, it's going to be 0-0.
It's I do have a different opinion on Clifton. I thought he was quite poor in terms of that. Maybe the 3 or 4 times that he had an opportunity to make a simple pass, it went awry. I think his energy is brilliant, but I think if we're on the wing, I think we're looking. But I don't think anybody. It's not disastrous. It was just like those key moments were a bit key. It's like, oh right, okay.
Well, that was it with Clifton. When he, and I don't like to disrespect any player at all. Clifton when he tried to play those passes where people were definitely in, they were just too heavy, and it just looked like he was trying too much.
Yeah.
And he wanted it to happen, it didn't happen, and everybody just got frustrated. Crocombe, I thought, had his worst game for the club.
So Crocombe, yeah, I agree. He didn't have anything to do, and everything he did, he made of his own accord.
Yeah.
He dropped the ball 4 times, I think, from crosses. And then there was that moment in the second half when he, outside of his area, he then passed it out. And I think if it was against Paddy Mullen, we'd have been 1-0 down.
Against most. I mean, they bollocksed up a couple of bloody chances, big style. Weymouth. They were a poor side. But at the end of the day, so what? Most people had a really good weekend and no damage done. So what's the problem?
Yeah, and I mean, Stephen's saying we're a bit negative about players on Saturday. I think it's worth pointing out the players that don't necessarily have their name on their standards. I thought we played all right. I thought you're right. I think what we would do, I think we worked out that aerially they were quite strong, and we would, low hard balls into the box and try and get a foot on it. And we had one cleared off the line. Maguire Drew missed an open goal. Clifton missed a pretty good chance. Waterfall's header nearly went in. We had the chances to make it. And if we'd have come away with a 1-0, so professional job done. No one was a 4 out of 10. Yeah. They were just, in terms of what they had to do, they didn't always acquit themselves. And I thought they were all right. It wasn't the same as what I felt when we played Wealdstone or Aldershot or trying to think Maidenhead, where we didn't create anything.
Yeah, we were definitely a better side. We're definitely on top most of the time. I thought the guy who Mark Taylor was absolutely fantastic for Weymouth, even to the extent that he got a blooded face when he had that head injury. He really defended exceptionally well, and fair play to him.
Yeah, I think it's just one of those, isn't it? We'll have a couple of them every season. Bruce, any questions on it?
I think we've talked about it before on the pod, haven't we? That we don't score enough tap-ins, we don't score enough goals, that we should just stick away. You look back to Chesterfield last week, and Taylor's was arguably the only sort of a good little bit of skill by McAtee down the right and pulled it back, and Taylor stroked it home. But you've got 2 25-30-yard rockets and a cross and a decent header from Clifton. We don't have. We've had it from the start of the season. Really, we don't have that sniffer in the box that's going to just get on the end of these things. And we're talking week after week about opportunities spurned. And I think I said to somebody yesterday that we are where we are because of games like Kings Lynn and Boreham Wood the other week, and yesterday. The top teams in this division would have found a way to win those games.
Matt Dannett,
and we can't.
Yeah, me and Matt Dannett had a quick chat about it after the game. He said if we had Podge in that, we'd have won 4-0 because it would have just would have scored one, and then it'd have just opened the gates, and it'd have been a bit looser.
Yeah, the number of balls into the box were ridiculous.
Look back at that. I don't know if you both went, but that Welling game that we won 4-0 when we got promoted out of the conference last time, it was 0-0 at half time. Dire first half. Podge sticks one in and we win 4-0.
Yeah, they just because they break down. The resolve breaks down, doesn't it?
You're probably right. Yesterday, they've got to come out and go for it a little bit more, haven't they? And yeah, it sounded what you've said on the radio. Everything that you've described is what it sounded. Crocombe, the guy I can't remember who it was that was on commentary with Andy Tilson, was just saying that, like you say, everything that he seemed to do yesterday just went wrong. But there's no ground lost. I don't think personally that we're going for anything higher than 6th anyway. And we go again. And like I say, I probably fancy us. I think we've got a chance on Friday. They're Stockport. They're not some Premier League top 5.
Well, look, when we played Bolton last season, when we were. That was probably the best game of the season, wasn't it?
Absolutely. I think we'll do all right against Stockport. We play okay against the better sides. People will be up for it. One thing that hasn't worked well, I don't think, and I'd be interested to know what people's views are, is Cropper's throw-ins. So they're really great. It's really great to get the ball in the box, but it's almost like, oh my God, the ball's in the box. What are we going to do? Nothing happens from it.
Well, Tom is probably jumping up and down, screaming set pieces. We have scored 2 in a loose way from them, haven't we? In terms of they've gone in, they've been half cleared, and then we've scored, haven't we? We scored the one against who was we at home to last week? Not Chesterfield, the game before. I've lost it. But one of their goals came from that, and then I would probably half argue one of the goals at Chesterfield came from it as well, didn't it?
Did we play Altrincham at home recently?
Not a clue.
They all,
Dagenham. So one of the goals from that came from a Cropper throw, but not directly.
I didn't realise this was going to be some sort of care home where I can't remember what happened.
It's absolutely like that.
We can all tell you, minute by minute what happened in 2005 when we played Spurs, though, Jim.
Yeah, absolutely.
That 3-1 win against Tranmere in when Luke Cornwall scored a couple. I remember that minute by minute.
I think we should think about suing the former owners for the damage that they've done to our mental health over the last 15 years.
Exactly.
But you're absolutely right, Jim, and sort of Tom's talked about it as well. He's quite surprised in terms of Hurst that set pieces aren't as much sort of worked on. I saw the Love Train come out there yesterday when Waterfall went off injured, because it was almost like they had to try something different other than I will put it on Slabhead's head, and they all sort of cozied up to one another to break out.
There was one corner where there wasn't anybody to take the corner.
Yes,
it was like a minute. It was like, well, will you take it? No, you're just like, well, who's going to take it? The ball was just like sat in the corner with nobody bothering.
Maguire Drew has tiny feet. I don't know if anybody's noticed this, but he's at most a size 5. Like when I've been watching him, he's got the smallest feet I've ever seen on a footballer. So keep your eye on that. But I don't know. I quite liked Houlihan. He got around a bit, and again, I don't think anyone performed necessarily disastrously. We're not talking. It just didn't click. It just didn't happen.
Would you change anything for Friday?
Score a goal.
Team wise,
I would put Macca in, but I love Macca.
I put Scannell on.
Yeah, he did quite well at the end, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He did really well.
Maybe move Clifton to midfield or give him a break and bring Scallon on, and then put Max. If Max Wright is fit, get him to be the impact player at the end.
He doesn't like doing that away. He doesn't like doing that away from home or at home to the bigger teams, does he? He likes Clifton wide. He doesn't like to play with a traditional 4-4-2 that we would say.
Yeah.
It might be a repeat of Wrexham. Max Wright coming on.
Yeah, I would love to see Max
scoring the third. Getting injured, going off again.
Yeah. Did he get injured from his celebration, I think?
Yeah, it was.
I agree with John Lewis. I would swap Macca in for Crocombe. Look, if it's about like making sure they're performing at their best, like swap them out, because I don't think Crocombe had an amazing game. He also suggested drop Jones. I thought Jones was fine. He didn't stand out. Clifton in the middle and Scannell on the wing.
I don't think he'll do that.
No.
I'd like to see it, but I don't think he'll go for it in that way.
And Sai, I agree. I thought Manny came on and he played really well. I like Desaruve. I'd keep him over Abraham.
He did. He did. He played really well. He held the ball up well. He looked a threat, but it was too late.
Yeah, it was too late. But he did make some attack. Like obviously, I mean, Carl's coming in sort of talking about if we go 5 at the back and such. I mean, you give the league leaders the respect they deserve and work on what you think is best. But I thought Hurst he got his tactics pretty right. He was just I don't know what else he could have done apart from throwing John Lewis up there to hold it up. Maybe kept Taylor on, but you never know what he might have had a niggle or something. I didn't listen to the interview on the way home. Yeah, pain in the arse.
We move on.
One of my mates, he brought a guy called Les from. He owns a sweet shop in Hebden Bridge, and he goes around watching football matches all over the world. He's been to well over 2,000 different games, and he hadn't seen a 0-0 draw for 187 games on the trot.
Glad we could help.
Does he pick and mix his games?
Oh, unbelievable.
Oh.
Absolutely shocking.
Oh, sorry about that.
Oh my word! Hundreds of thousands of them we get, Jim, every week.
This is a bloody disgrace.
Sorry, Jim. He hasn't seen a 0-0 since when? Sorry.
187 games he'd had on the trot without a 0-0. His last 0-0 was, I think he said Red Star Belgrade versus God knows who. But
I mean, I don't mind being
put
players
in us as well.
Yeah, I can imagine. I don't mind being put in the same bracket as Red Star Belgrade. That's all right. I'll take that. I don't know. It's just I think we'll be fine. I agree with what you both were saying when Nick was on. Like, I think we'll go home and think about what you've done. Takes all sorts for those who are listening. But it's it takes all sorts.
It's a marathon.
It's a marathon. What's that?
Is a marathon? Is that a sweet?
Don't get your Snickers in a twist.
Oh, I
Cinders.
don't. They're not sweets.
Cinder toffee.
Cinder toffee. Well, is it a sweet?
Yeah,
Sorry,
you get
Jim.
that in a pick and
Sorry.
mix. Yeah, I don't know. Chocolate covered raisins. The puns are drying up now.
So are the listeners.
Yeah. No, they're going up, which is slightly worrying. It's all about the bad.
Me.
It's all about the bad puns.
Punditry.
Punditry, yeah, punditry. I mean, Weymouth was quite nice though. Bruce, you missed out on a cracker. It's a nice little town.
I am gutted. Yeah, it was on the radar. I just couldn't really afford it this time. And looking at the league table, I think I don't think we'll be going back there for a few seasons.
No.
So hopefully they come back up, and if we're still here in a couple of years, I will go.
It's one. I was surprised though. You're right though. Like, they got a point, but that point doesn't do them much good. Like, so I'm surprised they didn't have more endeavour in them.
It's bottom three, isn't it, this year? It is, isn't it? There's only, because we're 23 team. I think there's only 3 go down, isn't there? So they're 11 points from safety, with a well worse goal difference.
You are right, Stephen. It was a very nice club. The steward even helped us put up the flag, but then he probably knew what was going to happen if we got it up. So he was more than helpful. And it's not coming without damage. People are starting to, disrupt. That's one of the ringlets off it.
Oh, I thought it was a polo from the sweet shop.
Yeah, that was it. No, it's dying.
That's a hell of a polo.
Yeah, big boy polo.
Been through some sort of radiation thing and expanded.
Oh, don't! You'll get Danny Rose back on.
Oh, he's good with his tinfoil helmet.
Oh God.
Are you guys looking forward to Stockport and the games we've got in now? Obviously, we're probably also going to play Kings Lynn in between then as well, aren't we? Are we looking forward to what's coming up? And I expect us to get 3 points, but I'm not 100% sure who will get the 3 points off of.
Stockport will be tough, and if Kings Lynn play like they played against us at home, that'll be tough as well.
Yeah. Are you going to Kings Lynn, Bruce?
I am going to Kings Lynn, mate. Yes, I'm throwing off my part-time shackles, and I'm going to make an effort.
It's nice. It's nice when you do that. Someone had a pop at me on Twitter saying I only go 5 or 6 games. I've been to 12 this year. 12. Cheeky sod.
How rude.
Yeah, did they tweet you that during the game?
No, they tweeted it
when they were at home.
No, I think they tweeted it at about midnight when they'd all had a few jars. So apology accepted. But,
talking about a few jars. I've just been at the pub and had a few jars, and I just need to go to the loo again. So I'll be back in a second.
Yeah, no problem. Is Lloyd banned from Kings? Oh, because he had a bit of a tete-a-tete with their Twitter account. I don't think so. Hopefully not. I mean, it'd be a bit of drama, at least. Bruce, are you? Is there anything else you want to touch on before we sort of start wrapping it up? And if you guys have got any questions in there, feel free. I'll just read through.
We haven't mentioned the fact that I was thinking about what's gone on this week, and we've announced that, or they've announced something that the Youngs partnership is no more since we last spoke. I don't know what you think about that. I just think it's the club have maybe got more contacts now, and and think that they can do something and move forward with something a bit different. I don't know what you think.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't mind having Youngs. It's quite synonymous with the town, and it's quite nice. But I do remember the first time the first time Youngs was ever on our shirts was the day we got relegated at Tranmere. So they've only spent one game in League One under Young. So maybe that's what's holding us back. Look, when the new owners came in, they were going to look at different changes and such, and if we can get more money elsewhere, as long as, for me personally, as long as it's not like a betting company or I don't know, some Chinese syndicate or if it had been John Fenty, it'd have probably been a Russian energy company.
I saw a couple of people disappointed that we were getting rid of Youngs. I just it's not like losing your star player, is it, or something like that?
Maybe they thought they were using Greg Young.
They're not synonymous with success, like you say. With bless them, and they've been loyal to the club, but they've been associated with the club during its worst period, and that's not their fault. But if you're going to be like that about it, then
it could be worse.
Maybe it's time for something new.
It could be Jarvis. I mean,
could be Jarvis, but we got a lot of money from the Jarvis sponsorship. I mean, granted, it had to go through the courts, but
terrible shirts. Though.
And the players probably sued for nipple soreness from them shirts.
Exactly, I know, horrendous.
Is that our Matt Dean? Okay, thanks, Matt.
Pod Insider.
Pod Insider. Is that that's a drink you got down in Weymouth, isn't it? But it'll be nice that if it comes out, and it'll be a bit different, I guess. As long as it's not one of. Can you remember the old Ion versions on the Nike shirts that used to come off after 3 games? Where you used to have Youngs like on your thing. You used to have to iron them on.
I remember the old Seba Geigy one, which was kind of like the big. When we beat Exeter to get promoted, that was like a really heavy. It's really like
it's like a fluffy. It's like a fluffy.
Yeah, it's like velour, isn't it?
It's like a comfort blanket, isn't it?
Yeah. I had that shirt.
I've still got it.
It's amazing. I'm trying to think since I was a supporter since '95, so I had Seba, Food Town, Dixon's, Europe's Food Town.
Come on.
Yeah, that's true. I don't think many people were crying when we lost that as a sponsor, were they? Like sort of people bereft because we'd lost the sponsorship part of it. Yeah.
I think that's probably one of my favourite home shirts. That the one that in the Bonetti era, with the proper thick black and white stripes and the nice collar. Was that what sponsor was that?
That was Food Town.
That was Food Town. It was yours, Food Town.
Food Town.
That's to me. That's that and the Seba kit from '95 is what I think is a town shirt.
That's a nice shirt, isn't it? Yeah, we had some nice shirts mid-90s. The less said about Paul Crichton's goalie tops, the better. But
Ollie says he can see it as a local green energy, so it'd be like a what? Orsted or My Energy or.
I just hope it's not Dong.
Dong Energy. I mean, if it's
just
Dong
have
Energy,
Dong written on across your chest.
I mean, I would quite like that. That'd be fucking hilarious. They'd go for thousands on the internet.
We were like hashtag United, weren't we? With fucking shirts all over the world.
Specialist internet site. Dong.
So, I mean, before we wrap it up, just a couple of people who came back very kindly to tell us what they thought of the game. Disappointing after the last few results for Chesterfield. BP will be rocking on Friday with only about 300 seats left. Doesn't sound like it in the away end, Jane. We'll take a point against Kingsley, but no talent will be the other way around. I totally agree. Jack Koopman says, still in a good place. Disappointed not to get back up to it last week's results, but no meltdown happening from me. Keep the gap like it is. Hopefully move up when we can. Daniel Ranson was pretty disappointed, but the result we huffed and puffed. Weymouth played well. I said 4 points from Chesterfield and Weymouth would be good. Take a point on Friday, win on Monday, and I'm probably in the same price as you. Jim, I'm not telling you yours because you're on here. You're all right. Yeah, I don't know. I'm quite happy. I think we'll be in the playoffs, and the only team I'm worried about is Wrexham. I think we can beat the rest of them.
I'm worried about Solihull.
Yeah, true. You're expecting. What was it, that one? The first time we were in the playoffs, we played Newport and we just didn't turn up. And it was just insipid.
We deconstructed flags.
We did. Well, they were a danger. I mean, I'm slightly worried people will start
health and safety.
I can see. I think the league's taking pretty good shape now. I like I said before, I don't think we'll go above Notts. Above us and Notts County might swap places, but I think the top Stockport will go up. I probably think the next two teams will probably be the two teams that get to the semi-final straight away, which would leave us or Notts County playing Solihull Moors or Chesterfield away. So we'll see how that goes over the next few weeks, but I don't see it changing massively in the top 7 now.
No, you're probably right. I think you're absolutely right.
But, don't forget Tuesday before we go.
Tuesday, we are interviewing for the second time, the second part of Joe Waters. He's kindly agreed to come on the show. It is going to be an absolute pleasure. He was brilliant last time round. So I'll put up the questions this evening. So get your thoughts and questions in. He's going to be doing his second part of his career, which was what, Bruce? Because
we ran out. He spoke so well, didn't he? We did an hour and a bit with him last time, and it was we didn't want to cut him off, did we? So he's, like you say, it's good that he's coming back. We left it after 79-80 when we got promoted back from Division 3 into the second tier. So he's got a couple of near promotions to the first division to discuss, and a couple of scrapes from relegation before he jets off to the States mid-80s. But I thought his recollection of stuff that had happened 35-40 years ago was phenomenal. He just reeled off games that faster than I was reading on the internet.
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it? It's wonderful. I just remember his story about having to siphon petrol out of somebody's car to get to the game, which was pretty cool. It's a cracker, and we hope you can join us. If not, we'll put it up on the podcast and you can listen to it. Get your questions in. We'll put it out on social media in the next couple of days. And that's it, Jim. Thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure.
Your room looks like an oasis of calm, I have to say.
Well, we're having an extension done downstairs, so all the plants from downstairs have ended up in my room. So it's not normally like this, apart from the clouds. The clouds over there, they're always there.
It's very sunny in Yorkshire, even at 9 o'clock at night. Bruce, thank you so much. I hope you're feeling a bit better.
I feel all right, mate. Actually, it's made me feel better. So yeah, all good.
Unlike that poor Stockport lad who's now slightly worried.
Yeah, he's ripped up his season ticket. He's just gone. He's going to be dreaming about the Conference North tonight, isn't he?
Yeah, exactly. Obviously, Cy Hodo came and said vote for his young lad who's doing Mariano Hodo, who does the games on YouTube. So by all means, get involved in that and vote for us on it. I don't know if we win. Do we win cash? What do we win?
I don't even know. It's all gone a bit quiet on that front, hasn't it? I've seen that the non-league Bible have been tweeting about all sorts. So God knows.
It better be cash, like
dignity.
Yeah,
pride and dignity. That's what we were in.
I'd prefer cash. But thank you all so much, and we will see you all during the Easter break, I guess, which will be quite lovely. See you all later, guys. Thank you very much.
Scunthorpe United have lost 4-0 at home to Exeter City this afternoon. Love it.
Open wide for some soccer!